Hello, my name is Jesse. I'm a full-time volunteer here at Uchee Pines Institute, and today we're going to be looking at sweet potatoes. There's many different varieties and kinds of sweet potatoes, and I'd like to just briefly show you how easy it is to grow them. This sweet potato here, we stuck in the ground, actually in a pot, put some nice potting mix with it, and watered it regularly, and you can see how well it started to grow. So here off the sweet potato, you can see these suckers or slips, they're called. And it literally grows right out of the sweet potato. And you can see here, some of them have already started growing roots. So here, I'll take this one out here. And I'll just break it off. Oh, and you can see it's more than one. You never know what you're going to get. So the roots, here we go. Now this one here is already well rooted. You could plant this directly, but I like to make sure that they have enough roots growing. You can see here, see where the roots start to grow? Well, right here, there are more rootlets beginning, and there's even some here. So what I like to, and there's even more here. So I like to try to do is I like to break these leaves off, because they're going to be in water. And just toss those to the side, and then you can use anything to put them. I just use this old glass jar, and I try to keep them all submerged. So all of these will eventually root up. The more roots you can get, the better the plant will be established as it grows. So I'd like to demonstrate, how another method that you can grow your sweet potatoes from slips. This one already has roots on it. And so maybe you know somebody that's growing a certain variety of sweet potato and you're like, I would like to grow that, but you don't have that one. If you can get some of their slips. This one right here, I'm actually going to just break right there. And so this one can still grow on its own. And I just leave this one here, stick that in the water. Now here, this part of the slip that you might be able to get from a friend, I like to just break off the lower leaves because this is going to be sitting in water and you don't want the leaf just to rot. I'll show you what happens when they do rot. But again, they have those little rootlets here, and when you put this in the water, these will root out from these nodes. On the sweet potatoes, they will send out roots. So you can just take this and put it in water, wait about a week or two, and you'll see some happy roots coming. Make sure you change the water out, every day or so, no more than 2 days, and keep the water fresh oxygen in there, the breath of life for the plants, and eventually you'll get a bunch of roots coming out, just like this variety here. This is a different variety here. This is called an Okinawan sweet potato. It's white on the outside, pink or purple on the inside. And so we're actually going to go and plant some of these now. So here we are in our garden. This is the last row in my garden for this season that I got prepared. This garden row was full of weeds. I mean, some of them were almost as tall as I was. And so you can see here, this is where the weeds are now. They were all over in this row that I had. And I literally just scooped them up, tossed them to the side down here all through the row. I'll let that break down and eventually it'll be reused in the garden somewhere. But back to the sweet potatoes. So here I prepared the bed after, after I removed all these weeds. I dug a little trench here on the side. Mainly it's to help with watering because this trench will fill with water, and went down the length of the row. Helps with, I don't have to water my sweet potatoes as much as time goes, but then I took that soil there and I placed it right on top of the topsoil that was already here, loosened it up really well. I like to use a rake. I'm just a rake guy. Use it to bust up the clods that were there, the dirt clods, and then I also added some peat moss. It helps with aerating the soil and helps with moisture retention. So I did that all the way down through the row. From doing that just by hand, it didn't take very long. You can see the soil here. It's nice and fluffy. Got it aerated, and it's ready for these sweet potatoes. Like you can see here, they kind of get decayed, and I really don't want that when I plant them. So I like to remove those dead leaves I want to have some nice good fresh leaves. This one's kind of yellow and wilting, so I'll just break that off, and we don't need to use that one. I want to have some nice healthy leaves. And so I'm going to demonstrate just planting a few of them. I'm just using an old piece of bamboo that I used last year as a stake to maybe stake up my pepper plants or my tomato plant. Literally just going to stick it in the ground. See, it's nice and loose enough. Put a little body weight on there. I'm just going to loosen it up for this slip. And if the hole is too deep, it's okay. You can always just push a little back soil in. And I just want it deep enough to be able to cover the roots. Get it planted in there nice, press it down, so there we go. It looks well for me. Now with sweet potatoes, you typically want to plant them about a foot or so apart. They are vining, so they're going to send out vines everywhere. I'm roughly going to go about a foot away. I'm going to use kind of like the square foot gardening method because it's a raised row. It's got plenty of room for these roots to grow in here. Soil's not compacted. So I have that ready. I'm just going to get another slip here. Some of these leaves here, they look pretty decent. Actually, if I wanted to, I think I will. See, I have some roots here, and they're going up this side here, and this one has its own roots. I'm actually just going to break this one off. So I have two separate plants. I could make three. I got these nice roots. Let's go over to our hole here. And it's a little too deep, so it's all right. The roots will thank me for it later. And just press it on in there. And it's really that easy. As long as you just have a space for these sweet potatoes to vine out. With the sweet potatoes, watering wise, I usually just wait for the rain. Rain is really best for the garden. But in those dry spells where it's not getting so much rain, I usually water a couple times a week, a good soak. If I see the leaves are starting to turn yellow, that means you're watering them too much. If they're starting to get wilted, then they need to have some more water. But as long as they're staying green and vining out pretty well, you're doing a good job. I personally like to grow them in a raised mound like this. To me, it's easier to harvest in the future. And especially when you pull the plants out, the soil's already loosened and those tubers will come out for you very easy. And I hope you enjoyed this short video on sweet potatoes. Hope you get to grow some for yourself in the near future. And hope you have a blessed day. And thanks for joining me in my garden. God bless.